Another episode of Talking Balls, you'll be happy to know. I know what you're thinking, there's something different about the set this week. Fire extinguishers on the right hand side. You got it. Jose Mourinho returns to Chelsea for the first time since he left the club in a complete mess. Despite losing the dressing room and leaving Chelsea in the bottom half of the table, the fans still love him. It's a weird one. It's a bit like Mourinho chaining a Chelsea fan to a radiator, with him proceeding to beat him twice daily with a rubber hose, and they love him for it. Craig, you're a Chelsea fan. Have you ever thought about Jose Mourinho beating you with a rubber hose?
Mrs does that already, mate.
I get the special relationship with the special one, but you can see from Man United that he's half the manager he was a decade ago. It's time to forget about Jose Mourinho. Look at this goal scored by Kaj Sirius from Ajax's under-19s.
Eenmaal kampioen bij de senioren. Sierhuis, oh! En kan het dan nog mooier dan die goal van
That's football. After an amazing start to the season, Guardiola can do no wrong. And it seems like his 5-year plan had been initiated by City, which saw them recruit players that Pep would want, staff that he needed, and suffer Pellegrini as an interim manager for a season was a complete masterstroke. So it's with an element of relief that the wheels have fallen off. City are, of course, winless in 4. There's nothing more to say to this other than that Leicester's win last season was further proof that all the money, some of the world's best players and the world's best manager doesn't result in complete domination all of the time. They'll probably still do the treble though.
Really?
Ball Street.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Ball Street. Isn't it? It's from the streets.
Nippy, innit?
Yeah, it's a bit nippy. It's going to rain.
It was a big you decide this week. Arsenal versus Spurs.
Me
North
versus
London.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I like Robbie as a person, but don't like spending time in his person.
You're not a new Samsung phone.
Nah.
Brilliant phone. Everything's there. It looks brilliant, but it always blows up in the end. That's you lot.
I think there were moments, I think you could see it on your face, that it was difficult.
He just argues in a way that's very difficult to tolerate. Well, the thing that irritated me was that Alderweireld just got dismissed out of hand, and Koscielny apparently is the #1
Centre-back in the Premier League.
Alderweireld is the best defender in the Premier League. I don't think you
Come on, man.
This annoyed Joel Mateus. He said, Koscielny the best centre-back in the league? Eric Bailly or Alderweireld? It is an interesting point. Who is the best centre-back in the Premier League?
Eric Bailly's been one of the standout performers. I like the look of him a lot. Alderweireld, it can't be denied that he is, if not the best, certainly one of the best. Koscielny as well, right? But the issue wasn't the fact that the Koscielny isn't in the top 3 or 4 defenders. The issue is that Robbie was so categoric about the fact that Koscielny is the
You've got to believe in what you're saying. That's the thing. I think you're missing out a few people here.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk. People don't talk about him. Southampton, they're on a great run.
Do you know what?
It's probably because of him.
Do you think there's something in the fact that he's played for Southampton rather than the fact that he isn't among the best?
Yeah, that Neanderthals like yourself don't look at other players in the league. He's actually a very good player. John O'Shea.
What, that geezer that used to play for Man United? Craig, who do you think's the best centre-back in the league?
John Terry.
He's a poor friend though.
A poor friend.
A weird thing that seems to be cropping up on the Ball Street YouTube channel is people asking Flav for advice.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go down this road. For your own benefit, I'm not sure it's the best thing for you, and I'm saying that from the start.
If you want to ask me advice, it's a good idea because I've got a lot to give. Use the hashtag
Psychologist Flav.
Psychologist Flav.
That's a lot of, actually, hang on, that's a lot of...
It's hard to spell.
Psycho Flav.
Psycho.
Hashtag Psycho Flav with your problem. Next week, Flav can answer your problem.
Yeah.
Tom Rose says, I got dumped via text 18 minutes ago, Flav. Asking you, Flav.
Yeah.
Not asking us, asking you, Flav.
Yeah.
Psycho Flav, let him know.
You get advice where you can. It doesn't have to be relevant.
That's difficult though, by text.
If they respect you, they talk to you in person. They come up to you and say, you know, what's wrong with you? Your dick's too small. Doesn't matter. I'm not a great person to answer this because obviously I've never been dumped. Genuinely never been dumped. Never had my heart broke.
Respect again.
Yeah. Obviously, when you've got a face like this, it's very, very difficult for women to not be interested, and certainly won't let you go if they are interested.
I think you're confusing interested and curious.
No, bi-curious men as well. That's fine.
Not what I meant. Charlie Waters, make a video on the verdict of the Ched Evans case.
Should we do that?
No. And one last final comment, Buff for Flab Don. How can Poch be the better manager? Has he even won a trophy? So again, this is back on you decide.
It's fair to some degree. It's an argument you can have. I'm not going to issue with that. I think that it's just a bit kind of blinded It's about the squad you have, the teams you have, the amount of money you have to spend. There's so many different factors to what makes a manager successful that, you know, just to write him out as nowhere near Wenger's level because he hasn't won anything is a little bit childish and immature.
Tony Pulis is a good example. Hasn't actually won anything huge, but does his job.
I read a great question asking whether Mourinho was a financially doped Tony Pulis.
I think there are a lot of similarities there.
There's a lot of relevance there. All I'm saying is don't write Pochettino off. He's at the start of his career and he could be one of the very best managers of his era.
Hello.
Now, go. Now James is gone, I just want you to have a look at this this picture of him looking very nice. It was reported last week that audience figures for Sky Sports were down 19% on last season. Sky have defended the data, stating that the Olympics, hot weather and illegal streaming of games were a factor. This comes off the back of Sky paying $5 billion to screen games at a cost of £11 million a match. So shocking are the results after such an investment that it makes Paul Pogba look like a good signing. Sky also mentioned that a number of high-profile games had yet to be broadcast. So let's rewind to Monday night when Liverpool played Manchester United in what was dubbed Red Monday. They made a big deal out of this game, a big deal. It was almost as if every soldier in North and South Korea had agreed to lay down their arms, meet up in a park and go toe-to-toe for 90 minutes. This wasn't war, it was two teams with a history of rivalry playing each other. Sky needed this game to be more than it was, and it was rammed down the throats of fans of all clubs, not just Liverpool and Man United. James, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, James. The irony in all of this is that this was a game that hasn't really been relevant in the same way, at least, since the decline in the overall performance of both clubs. It's a fair assumption that most of us just didn't care, but Sky wanted us to because they needed us to. When the number of viewers of Premier League football rises around the globe, there's a very real risk that the main focus of the Premier League is the international audience. More fans, more money, and higher demand. How long will it be before fixtures are changed to unreasonable times to support the demand for the product? I'd take Red Monday over that any day of the week, especially at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Let me know your thoughts on Red Monday. Has Jose Mourinho lost it? Is Pochettino the best manager in the league? And who's the best defender in the league? Remember to subscribe to Ball Street, and does it matter if people like the video? Doesn't matter.